everybody is so upset, like, oh, all of the 205 Live OGs are leaving. Vince, look, I know people are upset. We all don't want people losing their jobs, especially at a time where probably over a lot of issues back in 2020. Getting a job will come probably longer than some people's expected after having a job for probably a long time. But over this cooling down period, WWE knows over their decline of attendance, viewership, and overall push of most of these guys with all the indie jobbers, all the forcible bland top guys that haven't been able to draw as much as they can outside of the country, or just in the United States in general, Vince has to release them. It is cutting the fat. You do not cut cargo. Edge, Roman Reigns, the Usos, the New Day, I hate to say it, but the New Day, Charlotte, Charlotte, Becky, Bailey, all those people are cargo while the rest is fat to make sure that the horse goes faster. That's the point. Tony Nese, Breeze on go. These guys got demoted and won the developmental tag team titles. You guys are beyond saving if there's any credibility coming back over there. Now Johnny Curtis and Tyler Breeze just go somewhere else over on the indie scene or some crap, or go to Impact. Ari Davari, the Singh brothers. This is like the most meh release ever. At least there was a semblance of some big a deal because Strowman been highly advertised as one of the top stars WWE has. So the gratitude of at least Braun Strowman being a bigger deal than Samoa Joe makes at least a bit more sense because Strowman kind of has that leeway into being a top star than Samoa Joe. So that shocked a lot more people than Samoa Joe getting released, than FTR, just people that you'd think WWE wouldn't let go. But shockingly, it would. Vince is not taking any prisoners. Bruce Pritchard is gone. Braun Strowman is gone. Most of the guys you think would have a tenure in the WWE are gone. Because all these are mid-30 indie guys with no TV presence or experience, have no farming potential because most of these guys already spent most of their prime traveling around the world to just wrestle with no long-term factor. And thanks to the lack of their farming system like NXT, Evolve, all these guys are just already getting wrestlers that are already like have a tenure pro wrestling wise. They're not going to be good enough because they don't have that much of a growing mechanic or that much of, listening to WWE's directive how to be on TV now. How do you think WWE had to change how they were back in the 2000s to the 2010s? We came to getting guys like Batista to now getting guys like Daniel Bryan. And I'm not saying that Daniel Bryan is a terrible person or he's just a terrible wrestler, but we're coming over the minuscule where we get guys that look like, this guy, I can't beat him in a fight unless I have a weapon or something. To, I can beat this guy in the fight. Probably just hit him with a blind spot and hook him on the left of his jaw. Like, the realism of just bland, good wrestler is not going to be profitable enough. The most you had over most of that was CM Punk. And CM Punk at least had a decent tenured, got over for a promo, and that was about it. WWE doing this right now shows me that they're doing this over the right direction. They're cutting over the fact that probably they don't need. They had over 200 people employed over the boom period back in 2016. Which part of but WWE, it's their job to get themselves over, not the other way around. Please, understand this. When you're trying to get through in a job, take this from me or any other person that you know. When whose job is it to try to get you more promoted? Your boss, your coworkers, or you? Whose job is it to make sure that you get promoted? That's your job. And if they're not doing that talking to the right people, getting themselves more out there outside of their job, and making sure that they build over the better relationships or get themselves over that. I mean, uh, you're not gonna have the best thing. You're gonna stay where you are in that job, or you're just gonna get fired because somebody else could do your position better and can get higher up the food chain because of it. Like literally, there's no realistic factor to go by this. And maybe people think, oh, I'm just finding a sense to be negative, and they always find a single point of this. Like when I called Kofi Kingston, when I said that Kofi Kingston's built like a slave, and then they interpreted to, oh, slave, racist. No, shut up. Oh, it's just a single-minded aspect of a person always only focusing on their own truth without listening to anybody else's point. I don't like that type of mentality in a person. That just proves that you're single-minded. You're difficult to have at least not even a debate, just a conversation around because you're always with your own mindset and you're trying to focus that over on other people. You, these people need to get released. Does it suck that these people have to lose their jobs? No. Yes, it does suck. Nobody wants to hear a person losing their job. I'm one of those that had to well because of COVID reasons. Vince is knowing that he needs to profiteer a bit more. Most of these guys are already near over their 40s, or probably know that people called the Singh brothers, freaking Jack Gallagher, guys like those that have no stability power, always are okay staying in the same position, or just can't get themselves over, even if they have their own fan base. Vince just can't use that. Vince needs guys with good looks, have some experience, have a building, have a building drive like John Cena. Good look, a bit green in the ring, but has the charisma, has the mic, has acting chops, and he grew that over. He got more better in the ring. The guy's a movie star. Guy's in action figures. He's bigger than any other WWE star currently to this day. Roman Reigns is a top star, but the most he has going for him that he resembles a guy who plays as Aquaman. Roman Reigns is an Aquaman. He's still coattailing over movies that The Rock is in. Like, come on. There's a difference there, and I'm not saying that every wrestling star has to be a movie star, but look at the guys that were had their own charisma, had their own identity, had their own look, had their own ways to profit, and most of those guys that have became movie stars have profited a major sum for the company. What can you say about that for the current roster? They don't follow the rules. They don't respect the legends. They don't respect. They don't respect rulings. They can't control themselves. Can't take criticism. They're all babies, and all of these guys are indie jobbers that obviously uh, doesn't know how to get themselves over outside of their own fan group. That's not a good mentality you should have here. These releases over just a total. If we're talking the first 2 years over the pandemic, over 50 releases per wrestlers, some writers, because they know that this is the subgroup that they're able to get. What are you expecting off FTR? What are you expecting off Braun Strowman? What are you expecting off the Singh brothers? What are you expecting off Buddy Murphy? What are you expecting off Aleister Black? What part of that says in 10 years later they're going to impact a major part of the business? This is long term wise, guys. They're not going to make a SmackDown turn into an 8 out of 10. You guys got to be thinking over the long term here. And I know most people don't understand that way of thinking because all of them are just over how they feel a show is. Everybody's a bit too selfish whenever it comes to talking about how content product should be. And I get that notion, but come on. You know that a person like Aleister Black wouldn't last 10 years in the WWE. Probably Braun Strowman, not FTR. Not Lana, because she can't wrestle. She's a good-looking woman. She cannot wrestle. She cannot stand over the mic to save her life unless she has somebody with her. There's just people like that that are just not skilled enough, over enough, or just not young enough to stay over the life cycle, especially when it comes to profiting over in a business. And Vince knows this. That's why there's going to be a buttload of releases. And people are taking it like it's the worst thing ever. You should understand this is the best thing for the WWE. And hell, probably the best thing for the released wrestlers. That's all I got to say on this account. Hopefully you guys take this a certain way, just take this in a more constructive way. That's all I got to say. Thanks for watching.